All right, well, we have Rob here from the casual _ MMA _ police. You don't have to say the underscores, but I thought it would be a cool thing to add. Is this the first time? Is this the first admin reveal that you've ever done, or have you done admin reveals before?
No, I've posted a picture of myself. I usually like on the story, or I'll go live for like maybe a minute or two. But that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? This is pretty much, especially my first podcast too. You know what I mean?
Sick. So I'm glad to be your first. I'm glad to pop that cherry. So
yeah, for sure.
So you have one of the best, I believe, one of the best meme pages on Instagram. I don't know if you do. Do you do other social media platforms or blogs or anything like that?
No, I mean I have an account on Twitter and on Facebook and stuff. I don't really go on it. I mean the thing is it's overwhelming just with the Instagram alone. You know what I mean? And like I work over 40 hours a week most of the time, so it's like it's busy. You know, this was kind of like more of a just kind of like, cause I'm a huge MMA fan.
I could tell.
And I work in law enforcement, so it was kind of been able to tie the two together with this page, you know.
So you're a police officer.
No, I work in a prison. I'm an intelligence officer in a prison.
Gotcha.
And in a correctional officer. It's a maximum security prison, and I've been doing that for 7 years. I pretty much got that job right when I got out of the Army. And I've been doing it since. You know, it's not bad. It is what it is, you know.
So I'll add on to that. Like, there seems to be a big crossover between law enforcement and the military and people who obviously enjoy MMA. Because my uncle, I remember my uncle was an airborne ranger for a very long time in the 80s and 90s. And then when he gets out, he joins the police force right away. And then he just retired at 55 last month or a couple months ago. So, but I remember him telling me, like, while he was deployed, they would get like VHS tapes of like UFC fights and like watch that shit while they were in the military. Right. So I was going to ask you, is that something that is MMA something that you picked up in the military, or is that something that you were watching before in the military?
I watched it a little bit before. Probably the first fight I was watching was the Bonner Griffin fight.
Yeah.
Now I wasn't like a huge fan, but when I saw that fight, I really was starting to get into it at that point. You know. That was, I think, 2004 maybe.
I think so. That was
2005.
Yeah, that was somewhere. It kicked everyone off.
I was in high school at the time. I joined the Army in 2008, and it just picked up from there. You know, me and a lot of my friends that I still talk to this day. Me and my one buddy, he's down in Maryland. We share our ESPN Plus account to this day. You know what I mean? And he's like my brother.
It's amazing.
So that way we could share the fights and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's just the kind of friendships that you build. And like you said, you bond through watching fights. You could talk about it. Hey, what did you think? Who do you think's gonna, or upcoming fights? Who do you think's gonna win? Right. It's just something I love, and it's the only sport I watch. I actually grew up watching boxing more than anything. My dad was a pro boxer. So
oh shit, really?
I grew up. Yeah, he was a professional boxer. Yep.
That's amazing.
I grew up, training in that, along other things too. But that was my passion at first, was boxing, and probably in high school I kind of found MMA, and now I love it. That's my number one sport. So
now, knowing that you're a fan of boxing, I mean, do you still watch like the big fights like Wilder and Fury?
The big fights. I don't track it anywhere near as close as MMA, but I'm like a casual boxing fan.
Right. That should be your next page. Casual boxing fan. I feel the same way. Like, unless it's like the best fighters, I'm not really trying to watch any boxing right now. Once in a while I'll watch whatever highlights that pop up because ESPN's got Top Rank, so like every now and then they'll throw something up from Top Rank.
For sure. And I still love it. It's just the UFC, MMA in
better.
general, and especially what the UFC has done has just taken combat sports to another level.
It's not even
And
close. It's not even
yeah,
close.
it doesn't even compare anymore. You know.
Yeah, like I said before, like unless it's the bat, I had a really awesome time watching that first Wilder Fury fight, and then obviously the second one was like way way more one sided. I wanted to ask you though, I'm assuming you watched that last fight, the second Wilder and Fury fight.
Mm-hmm.
What was your take on the weirdness of the glove being like? Have you seen those fucking crazy conspiracies yet on Instagram where it's like the fist is in the glove?
From what I can tell, it doesn't seem to be, even if that was what they're saying he was doing, doesn't seem to be that effective of a situation to have your glove like that halfway off your hand. I mean, you know, and I think really, you know, besides that part, what got Wilder was he got hit in the back of the ear and it just fucked up his curse, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. His equilibrium, you know what I mean? It was similar to Anthony Joshua when he got hit by Andy Ruiz. It was the same spot, same round actually, and you could just tell he couldn't get his feet back. I mean, forget the uniform bullshit. You know, I mean, of course that may play a part, but I think the biggest thing was his he couldn't get his feet back at all. From that moment forward, he was wobbling, and I also have to give it to Tyson Fury. He changed up his game plan. Yeah. In the first fight, he was on the outside and boxing him, and it was a very close fight with that. But he said when he got knocked down the second time, he was knocked out really, but when he got up, he pushed forward, and he said, I'm sure you're seeing this, but he's like, I was fucking him up basically when I was pushing forward. So when he trained the second time, he trained the push forward, and Deontay Wilder he's not used to that, and he's not technically that good. So him backing up, and he had to back up because it's hard for him to strike with Tyson Fury, who's technically a much better striker, you know. So he had to back up, which he's uncomfortable with. Plus, he's getting outstruck, and I think once he got hit with that one punch, it was just over. There was nothing he could do from that point forward.
Well, it's like it discounts everything that Fury did, and his game plan was executed so well to be like, well, it's just like his hand inside of the whatever, and all the shots that he took that were hurt him the most wasn't even that, and Wilder is not even coming forward. I feel like if Wilder felt like if something was like off, he would have said something about it. Instead, he says
the one. You know, he came up with a lot of excuses.
Right,
but
that wasn't one of them.
The one wasn't about the glove, and I mean, you got to think even when you're punching like that, it's all arm. You know what I mean? Because you can't put your whole force into it. So to come up with that as a game plan to try to cheat, it just doesn't make sense in the boxing world. I mean, it takes away from every idea they ever came up with. You know what I mean? Using your whole body to put power into you know what I mean?
Right.
You're basically just punching them with your arm, and it's like, well, what?
Like, I feel like it would have been, like, so much more easier to just take steroids. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been so much more easier to just take steroids and then not, like, have this weird... I just feel like he was flicking the jab out, and people who are just casual fucking fight fans don't understand that that's... Muhammad Ali was doing things like that.
Exactly. Muhammad Ali would do the exact same thing, and you'd see the glove kind of going. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's you know... It definitely wasn't some sort of cheat move.
No,
you know what I mean? That's just my opinion.
And it's like there's so many more variables that you can plainly see in plain sight. Like, you know, and in some ways, he was using like wrestling techniques, like heavyweight wrestling techniques to like weigh him down and get him tired over rounds and trip him, make him. Well, that's not wrestling, but that's kind of like Muay Thai to trip somebody over to have him to get back up.
Yeah,
very smart, very intelligent.
He came in heavy and I mean It was a hell of a fight, and those are the kind of fights I watch, and I think that's what hurts boxing so much is they pretty much they get their one boxer and they know he's going to dominate, and they have him go up against guys that are not on paper as good, and they can put all their money on him, and that's the way the game has turned, and people just don't want to watch that shit anymore. They want to watch two guys in their prime go at it. With all their heart, not just some. Back in the 80s and early 90s, it was fun to watch somebody like Mike Tyson dominate. Yeah. People that weren't as skilled as him. It was, but the times have just changed, especially with the UFC. When you compare Mike Tyson's 1 minute knockouts to, Zhang Weili and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, I mean, there's there's just something, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what would you rather pay money? Are you going to pay money on a 1 minute knockout, or do you want to watch that, 5 rounds of just two people? I don't even give a shit what their gender is.
Yeah.
Two people going at it with everything they have. It was, something like that is just amazing, and that ruins it for boxing.
It does. Now I think their names are out there more, but if you ask, certain people, I hear it all the time, like, they just won't watch women fight. Like, they just won't watch it. And they're missing, like, a whole part of MMA that, like, is so... The product for female MMA has been so good for the last couple of years. Like, as far as athletes that are starting to come up, the way they're starting to fight now, and that's one of the best title fights that I've ever seen. Like, regardless of gender, like you said before. And I wanted to ask you, because that's, like, later on the list, right? But fuck it, you brought it up now. People felt that it was like, and I don't prescribe to this at all, but they felt like it was sexism that was not the main event instead of Israel Adesanya and Yoel. And I don't believe that for the simple fact is, like, I don't think anyone could have predicted that would have been such a goose egg of a fight.
I mean, I thought it was going to be a better fight.
Way better.
I mean, you even saw Dana White saying it all week, that it was going to be you know what I mean?
Right.
But no, people look into it too much. Sexism, you know what I mean? With that
everything's
shit.
sexist. Everything's sexist.
I think when you look at the numbers, Izzy brings in more than the flyweight division did, at least before that fight. You know what I mean? So when you compare the two, it has nothing to do with. I mean, I've seen females be the main event over male title fights, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? It totally makes sense.
Weili fought Andrade. I'm pretty sure that was the main event of that card, wasn't it? I don't remember.
Yeah,
she had it. She had a main event.
That was a fight night.
Because that one was in China.
I believe even like Ronda Rousey has fought main events over. I think it was Tyron Wood. I can't even remember, but I know for sure she has fought pay-per-view events as the main event, and had a title fight that was a male as the co-main event. I mean, it just is what it is. Ronda Rousey was a huge star. You know what I mean? Just like Izzy Adesanya is. You know, and Yoel Romero, really. I mean, in his own way, he's a big star. Yeah,
100%. And those two people are such big draws to the sport, like you had mentioned. And then you got to remember, like, what kind of a showman Israel Adesanya is. The one before, like, as much as I love Weili and as much as I love Joanna and their personalities, they're not necessarily as show women as, like, Israel Adesanya is. Now, Israel Adesanya toned it down a little bit. Like, his last one, I wanted to vomit in my fucking mouth. I hated that walkout. It was so terrible.
I didn't like it.
Good. It was so corny. It was so corny.
A lot of people liked it.
Just their casual.
Which I was surprised at. Yeah, I thought it was kind of corny. You know. I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but it's like, come on, I don't know. I'm okay with an entrance, but like some sort of crazy dance off. Like,
it better be like if you're gonna have like a 10-minute opening, like it better be like the cool, like Fury comes out on a fucking throne, and like that shit was crazy. And then even Wilder's 45-pound outfit was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But when you come out and you have like fucking Save the Last Dance as your opening, and like whatever bullshit song that no one could hear over the speakers anyway, it just kind of fell flat, and it just like wasn't good. But people liked it or whatever. I don't know. It's the same people that like watch like America's family TV shows, like those what's it called, America's Funniest. Like the same people that watch that shit.
The quick funny clips.
Yeah.
No, I don't get it. I'm not big. To me, I like watching the entrances, but I like to see if they seem nervous or not. But obviously, Adesanya's not nervous when he comes out to fight. He comes out dancing and shit. Right. But I kind of like how Johnny Walker, he comes out dancing, but he's not like, it doesn't take him 10 minutes to get to the ring.
No,
you know what I mean?
No. He didn't have a choreography.
Like that. I get the ring entrance is fine, but I thought that was just too much. That's where I think it's too much. Just
doing the most.
Too much like WWE.
On the list that of pages that I frequent every day because I love the content on your show, on your page.
Thank you.
The Strangle Squad. That's another one that I frequent.
Yeah, a lot. They blocked me for some reason.
What?
I don't know why.
Why?
Yeah.
Did you must have assaulted
from the
one of their
beginning
admins.
when I first started for some reason. I have no idea. I honestly don't know.
I wonder if you brought one of their admins to justice and you didn't know who they were on their personal
Possibly.
pages.
Yeah. No, I don't know. This was back when I first, because everybody kept saying, and I was looking them up. I'm like, I don't even know who the hell they're talking about. And then I saw it on the top MMA comment. I don't know if you've seen that page yet, but
I just requested to be on that page.
okay. Yeah, that's my other page that I kind of just started maybe 2 months ago. But that's where I saw the Strangle Squad, and I'm like, oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Like they must have blocked me for. So I don't know what I honestly don't know what I did. Usually I can see it and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what happened. But that one I honestly have no idea.
Let's
You
bring
know? But I hear it's a
unity
good
here.
page,
It's a great page.
and people share their stuff, and I see it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's hilarious. And then I
Yeah.
go to and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the fucking Strangle Squad. They fucking I don't know why, but they fucking blocked me. What
That's
I don't know what
so
I did
dumb.
really, but whatever,
That's fucked up.
Dominic Cruz blocked me too. That was another one.
Why did Dominic Cruz block you?
Because Google made a mistake, and it says who's the first bantamweight UFC champion, and it says Dominic Cruz, but there's a picture of Cody Garbrandt.
Oh,
So
no.
I posted it, and he immediately blocked me.
Why?
Yeah. I don't no idea.
So like, you deal with a lot of obviously like a lot of psychotic people who just say stupid shit, or just really dumb people who say stupid shit. What's like do you have
Yeah.
anything that really sticks out in your head as like a casual comment from like recently I saw on your page. I think the guy's name's like Bew something, and he's like, I'm gonna clean out the 185-pound division, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
the best since Luke Rockhold.
Bo Gilmore.
Yeah, Bo Gilmore. Yeah. So, are there a lot of Bo Gilmores that stick out in your head that you like to share? Like, what is special about Bo Gilmore that he got some of that spotlight?
Bo, funny thing about Bo, he's actually all right. He messaged me. He's okay. I think he's just joking actually.
Oh, okay,
He messaged me
okay.
afterwards. He was like threatening me at first, and I was
Oh
just
shit.
like laughing. I get a lot of people messaging me like pissed off or whatever. So I thought it was gonna be another one of those, but it's just like what he does. He just fucking posts selfies of himself all big as fuck and just says he's gonna beat everybody up, and it's actually kind of funny. But yeah, if I knew that, I probably wouldn't have posted him because I thought he was serious, you know. No, I would say this Aaron guy sticks out more than anybody.
Okay.
As probably the biggest casual, and I felt bad, because I don't know what the hell's wrong with the guy. Everybody was saying he might be something, I don't know.
Like special
But,
needs or something.
well, he had a lot of videos of himself like punching. He was saying, okay, this was the comment that got my attention. He said when Khabib had Conor in that neck crank, he said all he had to do was he was a martial artist, right? So like one of the ones from the movies.
Oh, like the no touch
So
guys.
yeah, right, like Aikido and stuff. So
Oh
he said all you had
no.
to do was push together the two fingers,
Oh
and he would have
Jesus.
let go. Khabib, if you pushed his two fingers together, would have let go of that neck crank, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I saw that, I initially arrested him or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then I went on his page to, whatever you want to
It's
fucking.
immediately.
The whole thing is stupid, really. But it is funny, but
It is hilarious.
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
I love it.
So, yeah, I go on his page because, I take the screenshot of the page and I see all these videos of himself training.
Uh-huh.
And I tell you, that's the one you got to look for. And he's throwing, geez, just to try to, like he was throwing a front kick with his left leg and a straight with his right at the same time.
He was
If you can-
jumping
and
up.
then
He was jumping up and
like kind of like one of these, and then with his leg out, you know what I mean? And then he'd throw another one with his other leg, and he was just sitting there. You got to look at. I can't do it, but you got to look at it, and
I will.
and
I will find that video and
so-
I will share it.
yes, please share it. Some of these guys, that you get, and then like I said, I get a lot of guys like they message you, and you're like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna hack your account. And I usually just I'll just say like I'll slap you, and then I block them just to piss them off.
That's,
That's
fucking
about it.
hilarious. I love it. Yeah, I would imagine you deal with a lot of hate because those people are usually delusional or they're kidding, like you normally say. Like they're like you find out they're
Yeah,
kidding
right.
through talking to them, or they're usually delusional. There's one guy. There's one guy I remember from your page that was like. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I love that you go to their pages and you share their pages when they're open. And then the one guy was like boxing on a tree, but like really softly. It was real sad. It was real sad. I felt sad going through his profile and seeing like the kind of person he was. That made me really depressed.
Yeah,
actually.
Sunflower.
That's who it was. Sunflower. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that was kind of like that Aaron guy. I think he got a life sentence too.
Good. Good. He belongs there.
Afterwards, you kind of like, man, was that guy like, So, part of me, a lot of us with this casual thing really is only just supposed to be a joke and it's supposed to be funny. And, sometimes I feel bad afterwards. I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, man, you know what I mean? I'm like, am I bullying these people? Like, I don't mean to be. That's not the idea at all. You know what I mean? The idea is just be funny. And because people call me, like I said, I'm a casual. First of all, casual is not an insult by any, I mean, even Instagram will tell you.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even mean? It means nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? So, what's it called? So to call somebody a casual really is not that big of a deal. Yeah. But for some reason, people take it fucking to heart. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was kind of why I came up with that top MMA comment page. Right. Because it's a lot less critical. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of just pointing out funny shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, the casual one, it's good. It's got a great thing going, but sometimes
I love it. Bad. I want it to be darker, honestly. Like if you beef it up, make it worse. Make it worse. It to be dark. It's really like if I'm having a fucked up day, like I like go there. I'm like, wow, these people are stupid as shit. And I feel better, and I feel way better. So you're doing better for me. Listen, some people got to be sacrificial lambs, okay? For the rest of us functioning people who are not casuals.
I agree. And a lot of them deserve it. A lot of them are real arrogant, and they talk shit on fighters when they're down.
And that's the worst. I don't like that at all. And you see a lot of them. I love the fighters that snap back, like Paul Felder other
Cowboy will tell him meet me here.
Right, Darren Till. Yeah, Cowboy will drop the fucking address of badass ranch, bad motherfucker ranch for people to show up. I love that guy. Darren Till's another guy. Yeah. So those I love when they snap back a little bit. So on the top, on the topic of like a keto no touch guys, I'm gonna move over to current events if that's okay. How do you feel about Diego Sanchez and his new trainer? I don't know what his first name is, but his last name is Ferreira, I think, or Feria or something.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything about this?
Man. Not good.
Yeah. Talk about dark,
I love Diego, not to talk bad about Diego.
That's what's fucked up. Like we all love Diego Sanchez, and this just kind of seems like out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just not the guy. I don't think the guy's even an MMA trainer at all. I think he's more of like he's like some sort of like life coach or something.
I saw recently. Well, for those who don't know, Diego's trainer is absolutely psychotic, and I won't bring this into people get into weird places in their life, so I'm not gonna like knock Diego Sanchez. I'm more gonna knock the trainer because like clearly the trainer's taking advantage of the situation.
Exactly.
And the trainer is his manager, his coach, and I think maybe his coordinator or something. I don't know. He has 3 things, and I remember 2 of them. But the guy Fiera or whatever, however the fuck you say his last name. He was recently on on a notable MMA podcast, and they asked what his credentials were. He's like, I'm going to flat out ask you, like, what are your credentials to be training people? And he's like, I didn't know there needed to be credentials. So to me, that's like you are not a coach. You're plainly not a coach. Listen, I'm not saying you got to go to the best fucking school or college. So like, if you can figure something out. And you're dedicated to the craft, and you're self-taught, and you're able to coach somebody, and they're able to be successful. More power to you, right? But when you're telling a commission before you fight Michael Chiesa that Diego Sanchez is going to kill him, so watch it, like literally kill him because of my training. So you to just be aware of that. Right. Then I'm gonna side eye you a little bit. You know what I mean? Like there's something wrong with this guy, and he's taking advantage of Diego Sanchez, and it's really fucking sad. It's really sad because we want Diego Sanchez to like end his career in the way that he started it, that crazy bat out of hell guy. Although like I guess the having this guy on his team kind of fits how crazy he is and how we know his personality to be. So, but it's been real crazy like watching him talk about grabbing people's dicks and throats in order to get out of submissions, and it's really strange. It's really strange, but it's also fun, and I will continue to watch it. So
yeah, it's definitely interesting. Yeah. I'll give you that. But like to add to your point, it's one thing if I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
With as far as I guess you're gonna end up being an MMA coach. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to like coach your kid, or you get into like a local amateur fucking thing. But your first fucking person is Diego. You know what I'm saying? That's where it
Yeah.
doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, yeah, you need fucking credentials. You need to start somewhere, and your fucking first person shouldn't be Diego in the UFC. Anybody in UFC. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Your first person, get the fuck out. Like, you know, and yeah, you don't have to go to school for UFC training. I get that or whatever MMA. But the whole thing is just like, you know, when you look, and I've watched the interviews with this guy to try to see if maybe he's just a different kind of, and it's like, no, it sounds like he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking
He's a
about.
con.
Really.
He's literally a con man. He's a con man, and
Right.
you know, it's the same. And I can't. And that's why the same reason why I can't knock Diego Sanchez is the same reason why I can't knock Ronda Rousey, because Ronda Rousey had a similar thing where her head coach, the fuck was that guy's name? Edmund. He's
Yeah, I
like,
forget his name.
he's
I
like,
know who you're
he's
talking
like, I'm
about,
like this
though.
world class kickboxing guy, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get her, you know, striking all on point. And then like you look at his accolades, and like he like isn't. And he's like he's been arrested and had his license removed before because he was making these con man accusations about being this, you know, top level trainer and all this shit. And then clearly we saw her go out there against two high level strikers who have world class trainers around them, and then you know they lit her up. And I can't knock Ronda Rousey for that because someone deceived her. She was deceived, and she wasn't aware of the kind of danger she was in going in there. So, you know,
True, and she you know, when you're that dominant,
that too.
you know what I mean. You almost you it's hard to I guess think outside the box, and all these trainers so far have led you the right way. And now you've got this other guy saying you're a great striker. Well, how, you know what I mean? Like, well, obviously I am. I'm fucking everybody up. You know what I mean? Even though most of it was takedowns and arm bars, but
Right.
I mean, she was cracking girls too, even on her feet somehow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just landing them, you know. But like you said, she gets in there with someone who's a real striker. You know what I mean? Like that's their base. Holly Holm.
Yeah.
There is no comparison. You know what I mean? And then like you said, and then Amanda Nunes is on an even another level.
Right.
You know.
Right. And then you know, I guess the big thing that I guess the draw. I can give Edmund a little bit more credit than Diego Sanchez's coach, because at least he had like some. It's a very limited background in kickboxing.
Yeah, he didn't just pop up out of nowhere.
Right.
And yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He was a boxer. He was a coach. He just wasn't. He just probably wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, you know, yeah. He said she was gonna outstrike Ronda Rousey.
Right.
I mean, Holly Holm.
And then your fighter believes
and all these
you.
things. I remember him saying that in an interview, and then I mean, it was. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, you know, like
Holly Holm.
obviously he's got like this thing where he, like, you know, he's got to make his fighter buy into the system, right? And then we're seeing the same thing with Diego Sanchez. So Diego Sanchez is doing all this goofy shit on the beach in the water, like Karate Kid, and honestly even less than Karate Kid, because at least in Karate Kid they're doing karate. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's really dark. It's really dark, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep watching. Listen, if you're going to put Diego Sanchez out there with this crazy guy and he's going to call commissions and tell them that he's going to kill people and he's not doing it and he's underperforming, like, you know, that's what you signed up for, and that's what I'm going to watch.
Yep.
I'm going to watch it.
I'm definitely going to watch it. 100%.
So yeah. Oh, what was your thought on the main event last weekend between Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero? There's two schools of thought that I'm seeing so far. It's that it's one of the two fighters' fault, or that they're both counter strikers, which I kind of align with, and so that's what we saw. We saw two counter strikers not moving forward.
Yeah, I'm on that side. I think they were both, you know, and they're both counter strikers, different types of counter strikers, but nonetheless they're counter strikers. Izzy likes to fight on the outside and use his technique, look for openings, and whereas Yoel waits for you to come in, looks for an opening, and blasts you. You know, Izzy in a million years, and I can understand this. I'm whenever I'm fighting or sparring or whatever, I do prefer to stay on the outside and to try to get in there and trade with, you know, Yoel Romero, and that was option B. Option A was go with your game plan, stay on the outside, look for openings, The problem is Yoel's game plan left no openings because
Right.
you have to basically strike to leave an opening because in Izzy's mind, he's like a computer and he's looking for mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you make that mistake again, he's going to counter it. You know what I mean? When you're not doing anything, it just it's like, what the fuck do I do? You know what I mean? So it shuts his whole game plan down. But if he doesn't press forward, well, then Yoel's going to have a hard time too because that fucks his game plan up. You know, so like you were saying, they contradict each other. When I didn't think it was gonna be that great of a fight, but I did think that Yoel, being that he's 42, and has that wrestling base that he doesn't normally use. But I thought, and Izzy's not a grappler, he's got great takedown defense, but I thought that he was going to do the same thing like he does, explode, but once he exploded, he would do everything he could to get him on the ground and then win the rounds that way.
He tried.
And
I think
he did try in a couple of them. He did. And I think Izzy's and Izzy was smart. He did not even let him get close to even have an attempt to do it a lot of times. I mean, his movement is so hard to read, especially if you're not a striker, to try to get him,
Right.
So I think Izzy was smart. I think the fight was boring. I think the fight sucked.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and say,
sure
the fight was, it did. It was boring as fuck. I was pissed off, especially I'd work the next day and it was daylight fucking savings time and shit. You know what I mean?
You stayed up for no reason.
And I was all excited. The Zhang fight was crazy, but at the end of the day though, being Izzy, you didn't have much any other options, honestly. Right. You can't go in there and trade. Plus, he doesn't even cut weight. No. Yoel cuts a lot of weight. You know what I mean? He probably came in there at minimum 200 pounds. Minimum,
right. He looked like he was 200
Whereas Izzy's probably
pounds.
still like 185.
Right.
You know what I mean? And 190 maybe, if you know.
And knowing both of their fight styles, I for a long time, so everyone was like, Izzy can beat wrestlers because he beat Derek Brunson. I'm like, Derek Brunson is not the level of wrestler that Yoel Romero was. I still need to see him fight at least a Division I wrestler just to have my mind change about it for a long time. And then I watched Yoel Romero fight Paulo Costa. I'm like, he's not going to touch Israel Adesanya. He won't touch him because he's not going to be able to reach him. He's not going to be fast enough, and Israel's going to keep him outside. So I didn't predict that the fight would end in that fashion. I did not think that was going to happen. I thought there was going to be a way more trading between the two of them. But
for sure,
I did call on a previous show that if it went the distance, and I think it was going to go the distance, that Israel was going to win by points unless Yoel. I was like, Yoel has one round to do it. If he can do it, and then it's typically how he goes. He empties the clip on the first round. We didn't see that this time. He did not empty the clip at all until like the last 20 seconds of the fight, which didn't matter. But I figured that Yoel was going to go like a bat out of hell in that first or second round, and then just like if he didn't get it, he was just going to try to survive or get TKO'd. But obviously we didn't get to see that at all. It's like Yoel basically did nothing most of that fight. I think they must have thrown 70 strikes or 80 strikes the whole fight or 90 strikes the whole fight between the two of them.
It was the least amount in any title fight.
Right. And then it even highlights how bad it was before that when those two women just fucking laid it out on the line with and they did everything they could to put each other away and they couldn't do it and they made it the full 5 rounds. And I think it was a little bit worse of a reaction from the public because of how inactive it was and that fight was so crazy. But everyone's got a fight, everyone's got a short memory as far as fights goes because like that was essentially like Wonderboy Thompson versus Woodley. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
And
it was basically the exact same thing in a way. Just 2 counter strike. I mean, obviously Yoel's much different, but in a way, 2 counter strikers.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a shame that happened. I think that's Yoel's last shot at a championship, because he's not getting any younger.
Most likely, unless he's really trying to fight for the next couple of years and he does well and he's taking out guys that what I mean. But it's gonna take a while to climb back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even Dana was, watching his interview afterwards, seemed to be blaming Yoel more than anything.
Well, I understand his stance. That number one for a long time, and now he's changed his narrative now. Now that he's part of ESPN. Before he used to attack champions. He used to attack Tyron Woodley for doing similar things. He used to, attack other people for doing similar things. Now ESPN's like, hey, we're trying to build these fucking guys. Stop tearing down your champions. I believe that this is the conversation they have because now he doesn't do that anymore. He says less wild shit. So for him to come out and I kind of side with him on that as you have to convincingly beat the champion. And being inactive for 4 rounds and showing up in the last 20 seconds is not convincing enough. And Israel was still hitting him. He was still trying to be active, but he was being active enough to win rounds. And that's all you have to do as a champion if you're not gonna press him and challenge him inside. So I'm with him on that.
I scored it 3-2 Izzy. I gave you all the first 2 rounds. And,
he landed the biggest shots in those first 2 rounds.
Yeah. So that's exactly. That's why I gave him the first 2, and then the last 3 was just basically leg kicks. And you know what I mean. That was, for the most part, why I gave them to Izzy, and I was happy because I bet on both Zhang and Adesanya, so I got a little bit of money back.
Shouts out to gambling.
Yeah.
Gambling is just for the for my New Jerseyites. We're excited now because gambling is you're allowed to do online betting on in the safety of our houses now. So shouts out to New Jersey.
So same same where I'm at, and I'm what's it called? I was thrilled to be able to. It was so easy too. You know?
Just
that was the first time I did it.
I don't want to go to a place to be a degenerate. I want to be a degenerate in my own home, in my underwear, watching people fight in their underwear.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, so fucking speaking of which, how legendary was that Weili Joanna fight? I think a lot of people put that as the best women's fight of all time, and like you don't want to have the short memory, but like I'm pretty sure that was the best women's fight of all time, if not one of the best title fights.
I can't think of one where, as far as the women's go, where it was so neck and neck like that. And just so much heart, and I mean that fight was awesome. That was one, like you said, that was one of the best title fights.
Yeah.
In a way, I feel like people didn't give this fight enough credit. The Colby, not to change subjects, but the Colby Kamaru fight.
That fight was fucking great. That was a great fight.
Incredible.
That was a really good fight.
God.
I actually had Colby winning up until the TKO.
Yeah, I forget. I think I had it 2-2 going to the last round, and I believe I had Colby winning the last round, and then he got knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Do you think that was called a little bit short? Do you think it was about right on time?
Maybe a second or 2 short, but not crazy.
Yeah,
not crazy.
I've seen way crazy. Like that one fight you just shared. Let me hold on. The fucking guy, he was acting. I can't pronounce the names. I saved the name.
Oh yeah, that one fucking was ridiculous. I'm glad they're redoing it. I forget. I don't even remember the guy's name.
Kudabella versus Anna Lakelev.
Yeah.
And they're going to be fighting in Brooklyn, I think. Right? They're fighting on the Khabib Tony card.
Are they? Okay. Yeah, I forget exactly when it was. Yeah, they said the comment was Mario Yamasaki needs a referee or something. Yeah,
that's great.
That was a good one. Yeah, because that fight ended, and I don't know if it did seem. I rewatched that a few times, and it did seem like he was fucking playing. I didn't think he was when I was first watching it. I don't know why the fuck you'd be playing. I don't get
I think
that.
It was stupid. I think it was dumb.
Yeah,
It did get
don't
stopped
fuck
early.
around like that. First of all, you're in a fight. Keep your fucking hand. You know what I mean? Like, and you did get fucking hit good.
He did. He did get hit good.
Yeah.
I did think he was playing because his feet weren't wobbling. It was more everything was up top.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
after I watched it more than once, I'm like, yeah, you know what? He was fucking faking it, you know?
Yeah. We've seen people do it before just in sneakier ways. Like, we've seen Yoel pretend to be tired when he, just waiting to lull them in and then shoot up with an exploding knee or, and then, empty it a little bit.
No,
but
I don't think
crazy.
it's the worst thing. I kind of like the old Muhammad Ali, thing. But, I don't know. I guess he just played it too much.
Yeah. And you can't. Part of me wants to defend the ref a little bit because just a little bit. He did get it in there way too early. I'm not saying that at all.
Even if the guy was fucked up, I still felt it was too early.
Right. But at the same time, you're really putting your fate in the hands of someone's perception if you're pretending like you're hurt to the point where you can't defend yourself.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
it's not the most intelligent gameplay. And I understand he wants to be, he wants to be very entertaining. And hey, listen,
Right.
no one gave a fuck about that fight until that guy was doing all those crazy antics anyway. So I'll give him his credit where it's due. But he did a little bit extra, and it cost him. It cost him the fight. But I'm glad the UFC did the right thing. And they're hey, this is a moneymaker. Let's capitalize on this shit.
Yeah, no, that's the right thing to do. Plus, they got beef and everything. You can't let that fight end like that. I'm glad. That's what I like about the UFC, man. For real, like most of the time they do it right. Most of the time, for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've come a long way, from calling Cyborg a man and all that shit. But
fuck yeah, for sure, man, for real.
They're getting better. Like the product's getting like it's like a well-oiled machine now, and like it's as it's like in the world, it's like UFC and one championship right now, and they're neck and neck as far as I don't know if they're neck and neck as far as viewership goes, because one championship dominates like that hemisphere. As far as it goes, like all of their events are like really big. Well, except now because of the coronavirus, it's like way less than it was before. But it's like in Vietnam. There's a guy. Rocky Ogden fought in one championship over there. For his first, it was his MMA debut, or not? I'm sorry, his Muay Thai debut, because they do Muay Thai kickboxing and they do MMA over there. And there was zero people there was nobody in the crowd. It was them fighting inside of this giant establishment with all this great production, and no one was in the crowd simply because of the coronavirus. And I think they're going to start suffering a little bit because of that. But aside from that, they usually pack out arenas, and they do a really good job of promoting their fighters. So I think for a long time they were edging out the UFC, which is why the UFC started rearing their head over there. It's like, wow, in the last 4 or 5 years, there's so many people coming out to these one championship events. How do we get a piece of that cake?
Yeah. No, one's killing it right now. Yeah. And I think they're ahead of the game as far as having. Well, I think in a couple of ways. I think with their weight cut. Yeah. I think they're very smart with that. I actually love that, and also just having that second branch of Muay Thai. I feel like they're steps ahead, because I believe the UFC will eventually branch into that, especially with boxing. Yeah. There's a lot of talk of this thing called hybrid boxing. Have you heard of that at all? Or so what I've heard, at least, and I don't know if this could just even be a rumor, but so they're trying to come up with. I think the UFC wants to take over boxing. So
they started Zuffa boxing. We haven't seen anything yet. We've heard a lot of rumors. For those who don't know, Mayweather has been brought up as a candidate for somebody to be involved with Zuffa boxing.
Right. So this hybrid boxing that I've heard about is. They're wearing 4-ounce gloves. They're in an octagon, but it's boxing rules. Or basically boxing rules, right? So they're changing. That's a completely different sport. So they're termed so far, from what I've heard, is hybrid boxing, and I think it would be a very good idea for the UFC to get into, because it would change the game. Boxing's failing, and if to be able to be the boxing. I feel like you got to change some things, and that could be one way to do it. Octagon completely change everything. The 4-ounce gloves, your defense is going to be a little bit different. So, and I also think the best way to get that promoted would be to have Floyd fight in that type of style. And what's also nice about it, which helps Floyd out in a way, is if he loses. He's not 50-1. He's 0-1, because hybrid boxing is completely fucking. You know what I'm saying? So you can put him and Conor, him and whoever the fuck, in anybody the fuck in that shit, or bring in Tyson Fury and put him up against the head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that shit'll fucking sell. And then now you've got a boxing, and then you figure out the rounds, however the fuck they're gonna do it. But I think that's a big part. And then I think they should jump into Muay Thai as well. And then grappling. People love grappling, and on top of that. So if the UFC had, obviously, I think MMA is going to be number one, or is number one at the moment, followed by, I think, this maybe hybrid boxing, or at least some sort of boxing, then maybe some sort of Muay Thai, and then the grappling. I think that's how it's going to end up.
I think they do have a few promotions for. I know they have Glory on Fight Pass. But for grappling, they have and I think it's Chael Sonnen's thing.
Right.
There, and then they have EBI that they sponsor as well too. Eddie Bravo's Invitational that they put on the Fight Pass too. So they could have like a bunch of events on one card. That would be pretty sick.
I mean, and it may not even be on the same card, but it could be, because it's all going to be the same octagon.
Right.
But I just think that the UFC is going to want to have a piece of, like you were saying, they have this Muay Thai section in one. I think the UFC would be smart to have that same setup, and then on top of that, the boxing.
I'll even add it. I think UFC is the only major of the big three, Bellator and one championship. They have their own Muay Thai, and they have their own kickboxing. I think Bellator just has kickboxing. I don't think they have Muay Thai, but they do have their own kickboxing, and it does pretty well. Encourages a lot of knockouts the way they have set it up. So
exactly.
This is the last thing I'm going to bring up about 248, only because it was hilarious, but also I kind of asked if he was white, like would he have got any blowback for it. I want to ask you if this is racist, if you hear this, right? So, Yoel's translator, did you see that, Yoel Romero's post-fight conference?
I think so, but what was it? Yeah, what was it again?
So he made, Yoel's translator sighed before saying this, and Yoel's like, get him!
Right. Yeah.
And he said, you have to remember his descendants, in reference to Israel,
are from Africa, and they're used to running.
Right. We're great runners, and that Yoel forgot that. He should have planned better for that. Is that racist? I feel like it's racist. Because if you said that on your page, if you said that on your page, you'd have a fucked up day, right? Or
it was pretty racist. Yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty fucked up. Yeah, they're great runners and all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, unless, man, man, yeah, no, that was racist. Unless you're referring to like specific Olympic runners or something that they came from Nigeria,
right.
But I don't think that's what he was talking about.
It's even stranger because Cuba is like almost the only reason why Cuba has these people is because of slavery, like in Spain. So it's like strange that he would even use that. I mean, like you see again. Well, I guess that explains like how ignorant racism is because it's like it doesn't have to make sense. Like he just wanted to say something to lessen the fact that he had lost in that fashion and to lessen, I guess, the embarrassment he has faced from underperforming, and now your boss is saying that you've underperformed, and now you're being forced to talk in front of all these people after your boss has just said you underperformed, and you're not getting a shot at the championship in a while, and you just completed that dud of a performance. So I understand, like, it's not out of left field. Like, it's not like he led with that after a win, or they were going in, and he was like, he's like, this black dude's gonna run.
He led with that after a win. That was
but
no, but I mean, bringing up race too. I guess it's not the worst. Khabib brought up race and was saying that in America you wouldn't, you wouldn't know how to street fight or something like that. And,
I don't think that was race. I think that was like he's like you're from America and you don't street fight. And I was gonna bring that up. That was gonna be my next topic. Talk about that press conference because Khabib was visibly upset.
Yeah, for sure.
So then I guess we'll go into that. So what was your take on that press conference? Because it looked like Khabib was visibly upset. Tony Ferguson, he found a way to like get under his skin a little bit about talk about street fights, and it's like kind of like a nerd. Like it feels like a casual MMA fan like comment. Like someone would say like, I got in a street fight and it was a 1-punch KO. You know what I mean? Like it was like really like it kind of infuriated me when I heard him. Like I was like, shut up! That was like the nerdiest shit that I've ever heard.
I'll tell you what, Tony is fucking. He's smart.
Yeah.
And crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
So that combination, and I think he just says shit. I don't even know if it's planned. I'm sure some of it is, and some of it's just off the top of his head.
Yeah.
And I think he was able to say the right things to piss Khabib off. Not too. I mean, I don't think he got in his head too much, but I mean, Khabib is fucking. I would think it would take a lot to really get to him, But with Tony, he's just a crazy fuck. That shit was so funny. He was telling him to take off his glasses.
He's funny. Listen,
that was so funny.
Everyone loves to give Henry Cejudo the king of all cringe title, but I concede that to Ferguson because it's more natural for him to be cringy. You know
it's
what
natural,
I mean?
100%.
And it makes it more interesting. It makes me want to go. Like I know Henry Cejudo plans whatever he does right before he goes out there. You know what I mean? Like you can feel it. It's like brought on like this WWE type thing, and it's like I'm kind of into it. I'm more interested in Henry Cejudo, the fighter. I'm not interested in the cringe coming from him because it's not really real. I'm interested in Tony Ferguson, the fighter, and I'm interested in what the fuck he's going to say that's going to be either so ridiculous that no one's going to comprehend it. He's going to bring a baseball and not be able to explain why he's got a baseball. Like, that's what I'm in those press conferences for that.
Yeah, no, he is, and that press conference was awesome, and I think he definitely got underneath Khabib's skin. I don't think, it's too. I don't think it's gonna affect Khabib's fighting or anything like that. But Tony is the fucking man. He's actually, I probably just have to say he's probably my favorite fighter. It's hard to pick one really, but out of everybody, I'd have to say he's my. And actually, he was my first UFC fighter to follow my page.
Oh yeah.
Him, and then it was Dominic Reyes. Yeah, way back.
Fuck yeah.
Well, not that. It was last year, but it feels like a long time ago. But yeah, like the day one or day two, Tony and Dominic Reyes followed me.
That's great.
But it was Tony was my first one. Yeah.
I love him. And on top of his crazy personality, he's like.
Hell of a fighter.
He's so dynamic as a fighter. He can do anything. That's why this fight, I'm glad there's a little bit of heat behind it now, because now we're going to see a little bit of animosity between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. It's not going to get out of hand.
Not too much, but a little bit. I like that there's a little bit of heat. For sure.
Right. They genuinely don't like each other, so it's going to be good. And I'll add this, right? So if you go back and you look at Khabib's background and history, history in wrestling, Tony technically is the better wrestler, right? Because Khabib he's only competed in a world class level in Sambo, and Sambo only really gets dominated by other Russians. So it's like when the Patriots win a Super Bowl, they're the world champions. You know what I mean? Like, it's only other American teams they're really playing against, and the top guys that usually compete at a really high level in Sambo are usually mostly Russian or from that area or in areas that Russia controls. In a sense that Tony Ferguson is a better grappler. He's competed on a Division I level, so he's competed against some of the best wrestlers ever. Like, at his time when he was wrestling. So on paper, I would kind of give him the edge as far as wrestling goes. Now, how that translates into a fight is, that's going to be way different, and that's what we're going to go see. We don't see Tony Ferguson do a lot of wrestling, but I did find that a little bit interesting to look at both of their wrestling credentials and go, well, I guess Tony kind of has that edge a little bit, and he's got that jiu-jitsu off of his back that's insane, and he's got those crazy sharp elbows. So this is going to be the first time in a long time. So, I feel like half the fan base of people that you attack on casual MMA fans, most of them are McGregor fans. I think those are the only people that thought that he could actually beat Khabib at that time. And they were incorrect. Obviously, they were incorrect. But this is the first time where I genuinely don't know who's going to win, and I think Ferguson's going to be the first person that might be able to actually put Khabib in worse situations throughout the whole fight if it doesn't get ended quickly.
Yeah, I think Tony might shoot for a takedown, actually, just to fuck him up. What I mean? Khabib's never fought on his back before, and I can see Tony just doing something crazy like that.
Ankle pick.
Taking him down and seeing how he does on his back. Yeah. Now, as far as him being a better grappler, that's an interesting comparison.
Just pure wrestling. I'm not going to say grappler because in MMA grappling you can be the best Division I wrestler. Yes.
Yeah, because he's not a wrestler. He's a Sambo grappler.
Right.
Which is its own unique section of grappling.
Right.
So and it's a fair point. He really only grappled in that section of the world, as far as I know. And he doesn't believe in like jiu-jitsu or wrestling. No. He thinks Sambo is dominant over both.
Right.
Whereas Tony's fucking learning all types of shit.
Right.
He's learning jiu-jitsu. Plus he grew up, his base is wrestling.
Right.
Like you said, it's in a fight to see who's going to be the better grappler. I can't fucking wait.
Yeah.
Especially with Tony's submissions, his elbows. Holy fuck. I don't know. I would think Khabib is a better grappler, but I have no fucking idea. When it comes down for me putting money on this fight, I'm probably gonna go with Tony just because that's my boy. He's you know what I mean? Like, he's my favorite. But do I think I'm gonna get that money back? I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Yeah, that's why it's a gamble. I can't. I'm
usually you have a good idea. You know what I mean? Like, you can at least you feel confident in it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like whatever. But this one, man, it's a huge gamble.
I will say this though, in favor of Khabib, I don't think that Tony's ever wrestled or fought with anybody that's nearly as strong as a grappler as Khabib is. I think people overlook how physically strong Khabib is because he doesn't look like the most physically domineering guy if you're not used to looking at wrestlers. Like he's got like the perfect wrestler body as far as like solid core, huge back, and he uses his wrestling techniques to take people down. And you see everyone who thinks they're big or thinks they're strong have their whole mood change as soon as he gets their hands on him and he's on top of them. So
and it's his technique, I think.
It's technique too.
I mean, he's also strong as an ox, but and his endurance, he's very strong, and I think number one is his technique. He keeps very good balance. He's very methodical. He knows where to keep a position. Yeah. If he has to hold on to you, he will.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose that position, and then he'll take his time and figure out a way to get to the next step. It's all in steps.
Yeah.
Basically, first he gets you up against the cage, next he's trying to get you on the ground, and then he's trying to pummel you. Kind of comes in three phases, and he'll take his time. He'll take a whole round trying to get you down. So, and you're losing the entire. He could be on your back. You're trying to get up. You're losing energy, and you're losing the fight. It's fucked up. I would hate to be in that position.
Oh boy, everyone does. Everyone does. Yeah. And you see like I'm glad you brought up the phases. Like his fight IQ is so high. It's not just people want to make him see that like make it seem like he's so one dimensional because he only does one thing because he only has to do one thing. But for him to get to those points, for him to recognize certain things, your distance and able to change his game plan on a whim. Like remember when he knocked down Conor? No one thought he was gonna fucking knock down Conor, but he set that up. He set up the shoot on the for the single throughout the fight, and then got the takedowns a few times, and then he was able to set up that overhand right. So he's thinking one step ahead. He's understanding what's happening in front of him as it's happening. Current event for MMA, Korean Zombie and Brian Ortega. Have you heard about what recently happened with them? So Brian Ortega, you're in the meme culture, so like of course you've probably seen a dozen memes about it now. But Brian Ortega slaps.
One.
Yeah, he posted one exactly. Brian Ortega slaps Jay Park, interpreter for Korean Zombie. I don't know. I didn't really get to see for what reason, like what he translated that made him so upset. But regardless of the fact, that the guy was like a fucking 120-pound. Little man enjoying a fight, and you slap him in the face after the Korean Zombie gets up to go to the bathroom. It's kind of in my opinion, it's kind of a bitch move, especially because you're involving someone who's not in fighting. Like, he's just not in fighting. I wanted to see what your take was on that, because I'm a huge Korean Zombie fan, and I still love Brian Ortega. I think he's a really good fighter too, but it's still kind of a bitch move in my opinion.
Yeah, and I lived in Korea for 3 years actually. That's like those are my people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
When I was in the Army, I was up on the border for 3 full years, 2009 and 2012. So I love Korean people, man.
Hear that, Brian Ortega? Fucking casual MMA fans hate you. They hate you. Okay.
Ortega's defense, to play devil's advocate here. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he didn't hit him. He slapped him. I don't know what Jay Park was saying. I actually forget. It was something like he was talking shit about that he pulled out of the fight. That he not that he got injured, that he pulled out because he was scared or whatever. So he said something like, "When I see him, I'm going to slap him."
Gotcha.
So when he saw him, he slapped him. But now, like you said, why did he wait for the Korean Zombie to get up and go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was kind of a bitch move.
Yeah.
I guess though, if you slapped him in front of the Koreans, now you're fighting. You're not
two
just
people.
Slapping.
Right.
So now, but again, that makes it a bitch move. Then don't slap him. Then if you can't fight. So I don't know. I mean, he did just slap. The bitch move part was that he waited for the Korean Zombie to get up and go. I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
But if he punched him in the face, I would have been like, dude, what the fuck? He slapped him. Sometimes motherfuckers need a slap. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Wasn't he translating the Korean Zombie's words?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
That's why because he's the translator for the Korean Zombie.
Yeah.
So
no, I thought it was like he gave his own opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was just translating.
Well,
I don't know.
I'll have to I don't know. I have to go back and look at it. But that's the way
I thought
people
he
have been framing it.
And they asked him something, and he said he gave his opinion.
Okay.
That's where I. And maybe Ortega got that mixed up even. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But that's what I heard, or at least I thought that's what I was reading.
Because it's hard for me to believe that that young man would. because like he's a fighter. You know, your whole page is dedicated to people who make really shitty decisions before they say something. So it's very possible that he just got a little bit too big for his britches because he hangs around killers all the time.
And Plus, he's famous in Korea, so. I mean, he probably thought he wasn't, you're going to get cocky, and you probably thought you weren't going to fucking see the guy, or he's not going to do anything, and you know what I mean? Makes me look jump on this fucking Korean fighter's fame and say, he's he backed out of my boy, my boy was going to fuck him up. Something like that. I mean, I could see it. And then we saw him, he got slapped, I'm not, I'm not the worst. I'm not, I guess I'm not, maybe I should be, but a lot of people are saying he shouldn't have done it and stuff, but. Like I said, if he punched him in the face, I would have been like, dude, give me a break. Come on. But he slapped him. I mean, fuck. It's kind of funny in a way,
It is a little funny. He didn't really violently maim him, so I don't know.
Exactly, right. He didn't hurt him. He just gave him a fucking slap. I think it's funny.
It is funny, but I think ultimately it is violence is funny. I do agree. But
don't forget, I work in a prison, so I might be a little fucked up. Too, you know what I'm saying?
One person that you arrested, it was a famous person that you had arrested, right, for saying something casual about Paul Felder. Michael Rappaport, he promptedly blocked you.
He blocked me too. I forgot about that one.
Usually he does a little jaw jacking between him and other people. Did he say anything reckless to you after? Or he just immediately said
no. So I messaged him and I said there you are, or something like that. Like found you, but. No, what happened? No, then I put it all together. I kept looking back to see if he'd respond, because if he did, I wanted to add that to the post, but he never did. So I ended up posting it, and then I went back to check if he said anything, and he blocked me. You know. Now what's funny is a lot of other people just on their own, they saw the post and they went ahead and they messaged them and said whatever they said, and then they got into it with him, and he was talking shit like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna like fucked up shit, I'm gonna rape you, like I'll take some weird shit.
It's
and
really
I never
strange.
liked the fucking guy to begin with. You
a
know
lot
what I mean,
of people,
to be honest with you.
A lot of people say, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I forgot what I was gonna say anyway.
I'm sorry. There was like a little bit of a delay. It looked like you were stopped. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
So, for a while, I thought he was funny because he would go on like different podcasts and stuff, and he would talk like normal. But then I was like going on I'm like, I gotta check his podcast, see what his podcast is like, because I think he was really really good on those shows. He would do like The Fighter and the Kid, way before Schwab did all that shitty fucking stand up. He would go on there and it would be fun. It would be a nice little thing to listen to every now and then. So let me listen to what he's like. And he does this weird thing where he does like a black man's accent. And then says a bunch of shit. I thought, is he kidding? I don't know, but it seems like he's being serious. And he's like, I'm from New York and all this tough guy shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is up with this guy? It was so strange. It was so weird that he was doing this.
He's trying to be cool or something like that. I know what you mean. And that's where I was kind of like,
he's an
this
actor.
Guy's kind of weird.
He's a fucking actor. You know what I mean? He's not from the street. He's not I don't even know if he's really from New York. But even so, he's an actor that never had to worry about any type of issues like that. So it's strange that he's trying to be this tough guy, like this. And then
Isn't that the worst? You see these fucking fake. They never, been in any situation, and here they are all of a sudden fucking talking like they're so fucking tough, somebody tough.
Jay Park
drives me nuts.
And then he of all people to tell stop fighting, he told Paul Felder to stop fighting. It's strange. It's strange. It's why even have that time to be your voice, right?
Exactly. Who the fuck are you, man? You're gonna sit there and fucking trying to say that? Get the fuck out of here. First of all, it was a real close fight. Could have went either way.
Yeah.
I was happy with whoever won. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was a good fuck. So get the fuck out of here, man. You know what the fuck? People like that piss me the fuck off. You know what I mean?
Although I did have Paul Felder winning, and it's not just because I'm a homer and he trains over here in New Jersey and he lives in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I might have had 3-2 Felder. I forget actually, but
still close though. Still real close.
It was real close. Yeah, it was. And when I said Dan Hooker, I was like, all right. I think I did have Felder though. I'm pretty sure I did.
Did you have Joanna winning or did you have Weili winning?
I had fuck man. I don't forget I bet on Weili.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Asian people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Asian pride.
I lived over there, so I had to root for her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I had to root for my Asian people.
Yeah. Shouts out to the Asians.
Shouts out to the Asians. Yeah. 3 years over there, but honestly, I don't know. I don't want to say I had her winning, man. But I'll be honest. When they were about to fucking raise their hands, I'm like, I think this is gonna go to Joanna. You know what I'm saying?
Because I mean, like on paper, Joanna technically won because she outstruck her. But then, like, I'm looking at their faces, and I know you're not supposed to measure damage, but I'm like, did she really win that? Like, did you look at her? Like that fucking hematoma was like. So crazy, like that shit was she did so much damage to Joanna, and I know you're not supposed to measure it that way. You're supposed to go by the scorecards, but at the same time, I just feel like objectively she did beat her.
Well, no, I mean, forget the scorecards. I mean, if you just look at it round by round of who landed the bigger strikes and more of them, and who got hit less, it is just so fucking hard to try to piece that because. For every 3 strikes Joanna landed, fucking Weili
she met her. She met her inside. She stood in the pocket. She ate whatever, and then she fired back with the same amount of damage. It
was the same thing. If they rose Joanna's hand, I would have been like,
I would have understood. Yeah,
she deserved it. And when they rose Zhang's hand, I was like, fuck yeah, she deserved it, and I won money.
They're gonna run that back, and I'm excited. I'm excited for them to run that back because that's gonna be a fuck. If someone doesn't die, that's what Dana said. And usually when Dana says they're gonna run it back, he says they're gonna run it back, and it makes sense. Okay. It kind of makes sense in the way because. There's what's her name? Rose. Rose is in the pipeline, but she's fighting. Jessica Andrade soon. So
they put them on a 6-month suspension too. Don't forget.
Yeah. So they're gonna have some time in between anyway. Mm-hmm. And then I think everyone else is locked up in that division. I don't think there's anyone else really making a run. And I know they floated the possibility of Valentina Shevchenko fighting, but I don't really see that happening right now in the flyweight division. Especially because she's got all these. She hasn't really cleaned out. Weili hasn't really cleaned out her division yet, so usually you talk about the double champ jumping up super fight thing when you clean out your division and there's no fights to be had.
Yeah, no, that'll piss me off if she fucking jumps up right now. She has to fight Rose. I'd love to see the rematch. Rose, the winner of Rose and Andrade, which I think is going to be Rose.
Well, I think Rose is going to beat her. And I would love to see Rose Namajunas fight Weili Zhang. I think that would be a great fight to make. So, those.
But if they do the rematch, fuck it. I'll buy that shit twice, and I guarantee you that'll be a main event.
It'll be a main event
for all these fucking sexism people that are out there. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee it will. Yeah. Unless Connor's the fucking main event. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Gets dorked. But like,
in that regard, that would be Weili's choice. Like, no, I want to be attached to that card because they're gonna make a lot of fucking money. So
exactly right. I'm gonna get that fucking pay-per-view money.
Right, and she's gonna get the championship money, and she's gonna get whatever sponsorship money. But I also want to give kudos to Weili for the crazy shit she's had to go through the last 2 months between the coronavirus and moving her camps around 3-4 times, and then Joanna. Not to be disrespectful to Joanna at all, but she had a little bit more of the comfort because she didn't have the belt. She had one place that she could train. She didn't have to worry about her visa or citizenship. So for Weili to overcome all of that and still have that close of a fight with one of the great, she's probably the GOAT in strawweight. If we're talking about GOATs in strawweight, Joanna's the GOAT in the strawweight. To be that close with the GOAT and still come away with the victory in that way, in that fashion, man. I would like to see what happens with the full fight camp next time, but she doesn't have to move around too much.
And she was saying too, like she wasn't sleeping or anything like that before the fight. Weili wasn't.
Right.
I don't. You hear a lot of excuses. She has no reason to make a fucking excuse.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's documented. She didn't have access to her diet, her normal diet, because she's living out of hotels. How's she gonna cook and make the things that she wants to?
She had a lot of disadvantages, and for her to come out and fight the way she did, and I thought, after the third round, I didn't think the way she came out, she was putting a lot of power in all those fucking strikes, more than Joanna was. So I'm thinking, man, she might tire out after.
I thought she was, and she didn't. Yeah. She fucking did not.
In the fifth round, she had more energy. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, she snapped back in that fifth round.
The heart, I'll tell you what, she's one of her and Joanna. Male, females. They're my favorite. One of my favorite fighters. Both of them.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited when I see both their names on ledgers. For sure.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see Rose in there too. Or Andrade. Whoever wins that fight, I can't wait to see them get in there. The strawweight division's awesome right now.
Yeah, strawweight is probably the most difficult of the three if you really think about it, because it's already decided at bantamweight who's like the killer, right? Like if Amanda's dead cold, knocked out everybody. 145, there's not that many people who want to fight at 145. All the people that are at 145 are fighting at 135, or they've left the fucking company.
Well, they're doing Felicia Spencer now with Amanda Nunes.
Right.
She just fought Cyborg, or who the fuck did she just fought somebody else after Cyborg? I forget who the fuck she fought, but she just beat her.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
I think she TKO'd her.
Oh, was it that girl that was like fucking 10 pounds, like not 10 pounds overweight? What was her name?
I know she's a wrestler that Spencer.
Yeah.
And she took her down and ground and pounded her.
Gotcha. Okay, no, maybe I'm thinking about something different. No, I don't remember. I just don't.
Yeah, but she's not bad. She's fighting Amanda Nunes. I forget when, and it's in a couple months, but it's for the featherweight title actually.
Was it Aspen Ladd?
It might have been. No, I don't. No. She didn't fight her. No.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Maybe she did. I forget. To be honest, I forget.
It's not a good look. That's why, and that's the point I'm making for the strawweight.
No, well, and that's and then just to add to that, I mean, a lot of guys get all butthurt when I say you're a casual, but the truth, I mean, nobody's gonna remember everything. You know what I'm saying? Give me a break. This whole thing is this whole page that I made is just to be funny. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. People are like, you're a casual, and it's like, yeah, sure. Probably sometimes. In some things I am. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can, to a regular casual fan, I look like a genius when it comes to MMA. But when I'm talking to, you know what I'm saying, another MMA guy, it's like you're not gonna know everything. It's impossible. Right. There's so much shit.
I'm sure if you talk to like fucking Joe Rogan about it, you're like, there's just shit I don't remember. Like he knows it. Like he's been around since the beginning of the company. You know what I mean? So it's like
exactly.
It's okay to be casual. Casual is okay. You can be called a casual.
You don't have to message me threatening to kill me and shit.
That's so fucking psychotic. But yeah, that's basically all that I have. I don't know if you have any sponsors or anything like that, or shout outs or anything, but this is usually the last portion of the podcast that I do. I let this is your platform to say whatever you need to say, and go ahead.
Well, not really, man. Just appreciate anybody that's been following my page. Respect everybody, even the haters. Like I said, this thing is just for fun. I'm a huge MMA fan. Been watching it for a long time. I've trained in MMA myself in different aspects growing up. I got my black belt in Taekwondo when I was young. Boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and in the Army they do their own combatives version. So I'm just a huge fan of all-around combat sports. I still train. I'm getting back into it. I got into a car accident, so getting back into it slowly. I'm doing a lot better. That's pretty much it. And then, anybody who hasn't seen it, check out my page, Casual MMA Police, or Top MMA Comment. That's it, man. Thanks for everybody for all the support.
Fucking awesome time. Thank you so much for taking the time to find it. He's got one of the best pages on Instagram if you're an MMA fan, if you just like, watching people and their shortcomings, like definitely stop by this page. It's got like 28,000 people on it so far.
Something like that. Yep.
That man. Wait, I gotta ask this before you go. I'm so sorry. How long ago did you start this page?
I started it in August of
last year. You started August of last year. You have 28,000 fucking people. So is it just like, what's the campaign like to get this many people? Or are you just like you've just been doing this as a hobby and people have just been following as a result?
Well, a little bit of both. When I first started it, I remember when I got Tony. This was like the second day or maybe first day. Tony Ferguson posted something. And I just commented on it, something stupid like, don't. I put little cop emojis, and I said, "Don't mind us, we're just patrolling for casuals." So he commented on it, saying something like, "Get 'em, ninjas." So since he commented on it, it like just got all these fucking likes and shit. Uh-huh. And next thing you know, I had like a couple thousand followers like overnight. And Dominic Reyes commented on it as well. And then he followed me. So pretty much overnight, just based off that, I had like 2,000-3,000 followers, and then I just kept, putting a lot of pride and stuff into each post and making sure it's, trying to fix whatever I can, make it better, and just try to do the best I can with it. I'm mind blown that it blew up as fast as it did, and there's so many different UFC fighters that follow my page. Darren Till, Mike Perry. I mean, they're all on there. It's all, Razor Blades. It's Curtis Blades. It's incredible, and I'm like super grateful that I was able to put this together. That people like it. Yeah, to answer how it blew up so fast, I don't know. I guess it's just I don't know. I just put a lot into it, and I'm glad it paid off. You
got the clutch factor, man.
Yeah, I hope so.
You got it.
Said, this top MMA thing, hopefully that blows up too.
That's getting how long ago did you start that one? I think it's got like 6,000 or 7,000 people on it right now.
Yeah, that's about 7,000 now. That was only a couple months now, maybe 2 months.
That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty good.
So that one's doing okay as well, and there's a couple, there's a good amount on there too. So
you should write a fucking ebook on how to build your pages, because
not
your
a bad
boys,
idea, actually.
Your boy's been.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, there you go. I want like 1% royalty because I gave you the idea.
Royalty going your way.
Yeah, I've been like doing, and like I guess it's you have like a more of an interactive thing, and I think because you're using more interaction with these fighters and with your page, it's leading to more people doing it. Whereas like I have a podcast page, so it's more difficult to the bigger bumps I get is when I do an interview and someone shares it, and then like people follow from that. So and then usually I retain them because I make pretty good relationships with everyone that I do interviews with. But it's been like very slow. I started off a year ago and I had like 200 people, and now I have like 430.
You know what I think helped a little bit also with mine? It's a little unique in its way, is that people tag me, I mean, constantly.
Yeah.
If you look at my notifications, it's overwhelming. So I think that alone is self-promoting it. And if you notice, occasionally I'll do a special where, I'll give $10 per bounty.
That's
and I'll
hilarious.
run it for maybe a week.
That's amazing.
And I'll get on Venmo or whatever, and I'll send these guys $10 for tagging me if it was a good arrest that I can actually pull. If it's a funny one, you know what I mean. But with that, it gets people tagging me, and I guess that's a little hidden secret. I mean, mine's a little bit unique in that because people have to tag me.
Yeah.
But when they are tagging me, like I said, 99% of the time, it's fucking stupid. It's like, I think Conor McGregor is going to beat so and so. Well, that's an opinion. You know what I mean? Like he might beat him. I have no fucking idea. You know what I'm saying?
You should report the person that fucking comments and think that's a casual
I have.
thing.
I have done that, and they got mad at me. Yeah, I've this guy kept tagging me like more than once, and the guy didn't say. He said everything correct, and he was saying, he's like, see, he's wrong. He said this. I forget what it was. Yeah. So I ended up arresting him, and he sent me this long message like, you fucking scumbag. And he unfollowed me.
That's hilarious. I love it. So yeah, we'll finish on that note. I want to thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you, man.
And then, thank further service in our country and in law enforcement, and then also your public service by bringing these fucking casuals to justice that deserve it. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time, man. I'm gonna stop recording now.